welcome to TAC Talk, the official podcast of Tucson Asphalt, where we break down the blacktop and spotlight the people who power the pavement. Join your hosts, Alex Dietz, Noah Dayton, and Jennifer Niles, as we dive into the stories, strategies, and leadership shaping the asphalt and construction world in Southern Arizona and beyond. From job site wisdom to industry trends, company culture to big picture thinking. If it's paving the future, we're talking about it here on TAC Talk.
I'm excited. We're going to be talking about something near and dear to our hearts here at Tucson Asphalt, and that is employee ownership. And we're excited to have our guest today, Mr. Jason Wellman with ESOP Partners. We're going to dive deep into the world of ESOP and employee ownership and the benefits and advantages that come behind that. Jason, welcome to the show, man. Welcome to Tucson.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. And someone needs to turn the thermostat down.
Yeah,
just
right. A little warm outside.
Just a little bit. It's pretty warm down here compared to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But such an honor to be here with you and with your fellow employee owners and share in and celebrate the unique culture and really the camaraderie that you're building out there in the job sites. And also just together making sure that they're winning the day and having a great time out there.
Awesome. I'm glad we've had a productive day so far. Started bright and early with company-wide share price reveal and deep dive into the foundation of employee ownership. Alex and Jennifer got you out to the jobs to meet with some of the guys so you could see what it is we do every day and get a little appreciation for that and a little more one-on-one FaceTime with the guys. So that's awesome. And, we're here doing this, and we'll grab some dinner today and then send you back on your way tomorrow. So pretty productive day.
Yeah, I would agree. I didn't get to drop any trucks, though. So
next time.
I didn't throw any asphalt down or anything like that.
We'll make sure we get you some gear and get you out with the guys next time.
Okay. I'd be honored.
Absolutely. So, hey, Jason, I want to start really just with some background on you, kind of personal story, what, kind of background coming up, and then really what got you into the ESOP world? What drew you to this work? Or some pivotal moments or influence that really drew you to the world of ESOP? And then, obviously, what does ESOP Partners, mean to you personally, and the impact you guys have on companies like Tucson Asphalt?
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. The whole premise of shared ownership, shared value through employee ownership through an ESOP, which again is the only benefit plan that can own a company, makes it real simple to understand that you matter.
Right.
And what you do every day is either improving the bottom line or it's impacting it in a negative way. And I know we talked a lot about that this morning, but that really resonates personally with me. And it's something I'm passionate about. I want to help people. I believe that's truly why I'm here. And I want to make sure that people understand this unique benefit and how they can embrace it, how it can generate wealth for them and for their family and for their colleagues. And as we talked about this morning, how they're stewards of Tucson Asphalt.
Right.
This is their time. This is their ability to take responsibility and make this better for the next generation coming in behind them. And I'm just really proud of that. And that's something that really drew me to the space. And it's become a real passion project for myself. And I really enjoy it. And I love what I do. I do what I love. And this is something that I really am passionate about in terms of spreading the news, how we can implement different strategies, how we can implement different learning styles to make sure if it's a Kahoot game or if it's a role play where we fire you for embezzlement, whatever we need to do, we're going to do it because we want them to understand how this is impacting them in their future. ESOP Partners have been there about 9 years or so. Funny story there. My wife's good friend worked there and said, "Hey, I think you should maybe apply." And so I did, went through the interview process and started in sales and was training people on ESOPs and what they are used for. And then before I knew it, I was out on the road, just like doing presentations like we did this morning.
Yeah.
And now that's all I do pretty much, along with just helping with some internal stuff. So that's really my focus. That's what I'm focused on. And ESOP Partners, we're a leading third-party administrator and consultant for ESOPs. We implement and establish ESOPs across the country, and then we do plan administration for numerous employee-owned companies. And then we also help with sustainability modeling, like we'll be helping you guys with later this year. We do the employee education and engagement like we did today. We do some corporate governance as well to help make sure that boards align and that they're hitting their objectives. And it's just a blessing. It just really is. It's pretty awesome to work with companies like yours.
Yeah, we're super excited to have you on board. I mean, I know we're young in our relationship, right? I think we just jumped into this a couple months ago.
Yeah.
But we're just already, I know I could say thank you on behalf of the company just from this morning. We've already seen the impact, the responsiveness, and really just the true partnership that I feel like we're really going to have with ESOP Partners moving forward. Really help us manage our plan, right? And set our employees up the best way we possibly can for the future, because that's really what it's all about. What was your background before getting into ESOP? Where'd you go to school? What'd you
I'm from Central Wisconsin, so big farming community.
Yeah.
Pretty simple upbringing there. So did that in Central Wisconsin, the dairy state, and went to school, just basic business, and then managed a bunch of retail stores for a company called GNC, the Nutrition Centers. Managed like 32 of those for about 15 years. Then did a little bit of sales with a manufacturer of snow blowers. I know you guys don't probably get a lot of snow out here, but
see those here?
The Aaron's Co. They have the Gravely brand and Aaron's lawnmowers. So did that. And then go with ESOP Partners. So really a sales background, but I think my passion's really in teaching.
Gotcha.
and inspiring and
Awesome.
helping motivate, as you probably saw this morning.
So you were with GNC back in the good old days of ephedra, huh? When they were selling the good stuff back then.
You could get ephedra, you could get a lot of stuff. Yeah. I was there.
GNC was pushing all the back when I was in the military in the early 2000s. We were buying all the good stuff from GNC back then.
Yeah, that's accurate. we had all of that.
Yeah. Hey, so I want to talk kind of ESOP, obviously, right? That's why you're here, to help us, understand and better manage ESOP. But kind of simple, basic, like what is ESOP to you? What does it really mean? For employees, for all the way from your entry level employee to maybe your executive management. What does that term ESOP really mean to you?
Yeah. So an employee stock ownership plan, being employee owned, really has three distinct reasons to it. It's a business transition tool for the owner.
Sure.
So that owner isn't going to live forever. Okay. They're not going to live forever. They want their business to live forever. So how do you set your business up for long-term transformative success? Well, you can sell them an ESOP. And like we talked about this morning, that preserves the legacy of the company. If Tucson would have been sold to a third party or private equity, do you think we'd be talking about it right now?
Absolutely.
Probably not. You'd be a footnote and probably some valuation report somewhere.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the legacy that you've already established, starting with Paul and everything he did, and now you guys as leaders. And how do we continue that legacy? And we do that through the ESOP, through employee ownership, through each of us. It's a we thing, not a me thing, like we talked about. And then it's also doubling down on loyalty. We want every single employee to get a piece of that success.
Right.
We want them to impact our day, and we want them to get shares, and we want them to get the value of those shares from that impact.
Yeah.
And that was the first part of it. It is a qualified benefits plan. It is giving them wealth opportunities, and the longer they stay, the more they can get. And then obviously it's an employee ownership vehicle. This is giving them a stake in the company, a vested stake.
Right.
And if they want that to be successful, then show up and show out.
Yeah.
Be focused. Like we talked about, let's drive these next 60 days. Let's finish this third quarter strong. Let's see where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like you said, I mean, you working for an employee-owned company, you really do get to write your own destiny, right? I mean, we were talking about it a little earlier. It's at the end of the year, there's, the goal is there's this nut at the end, right? By the time you've paid all your bills and your payroll and you've got this left over. And, one of the big advantages that I've seen is, I've worked for publicly held companies, privately held companies, and now an ESOP. And it's, you spend all year busting your tail and trying to do well and deliver good projects. And, we all come to work for a paycheck, and, you always tell yourself, well, I get paid what I'm worth and I don't need any more than that. Right. But at the end of the year, everybody thinks like, man, I just busted my butt all year. And, I got my same paycheck, and, Joe here who owns the company, good on him, but he just went and bought a new beach house in Malibu, and only see him 3 months out of the year, and we're the ones here driving everything. And now when you start rolling out statements every year, and guys get to really start seeing their shares and their value, and there's a real number there at the bottom, right? And then that's when everything becomes real, and people realize, like, man, that money's coming back to us, and the better we do, the bigger that number gets, right? It's it's a real thing. It's palpable, it's tangible. Guys can see it. I think sometimes it takes a little time to really get people to understand, but once that light switch goes off, it's it really is. And with that, what is one of the biggest misconceptions you see or hear when talking to ESOP employees?
They think it's fake.
Right.
Like, this isn't real.
Right.
Like, they didn't really sell to an ESOP. Can you tell us what they really did?
Right.
Like, so we're getting shares. I'm getting shares, and you're going to pay me for these. Like,
Right.
They don't believe it.
Right.
They just don't believe it. So, and that's natural, I guess. But what we typically see is once you get 7, 8, 9, 10 years in, and somebody leaves with a big payout, and they go get a brand new truck, and they didn't have to take a loan out for it. Now they all of a sudden they start believing.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, there is money in this thing.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is accelerate that learning curve. And that's what we started doing today. We want people to understand that and embrace it today, because their behavior today can align with company success. And the sooner we get that alignment in company success, the future can be whatever we want. Like, to your point, we could write whatever we want it to be.
Right.
Because every one of us has a pen.
Yeah.
What do you want it to be?
Yeah.
Really? And I know they love what they do. I mean, how else are you getting up at 4 a.m. and getting out to the job site, right?
Right.
How are you going through 100-degree temperature? You're not doing that for fun,
Right.
right? Well, maybe some of them are, but
Yeah, some.
I saw a couple today.
We got some guys that like to have fun out there. That's for sure.
Great guys.
Yeah.
Great people, and great people can do anything. And this helps create that commonality so they can take those challenges and be resilient.
Yeah.
They can go through that challenge and they come out on the other end with high quality deliverable. They can do it efficiently. They can do it at or under budget, and we can drive profits all day long.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do. That's what Tucson wants.
And then the hope is, well, not the hope, but the plan is, right, is you got somebody that puts in a 20, 30-year career here, and then you get to send them off with that gift. I loved it this morning. You kept using the word gift, right? I think that's something that definitely needs to be incorporated into the language more, is it really is a gift. And hope that, we've got some folks close to retirement that started, been here 20 years, and, company went ESOP, and we had a super low share price, and, we've done well the last couple of years, and it's gone up. And, I can't wait for the day that those guys get to retire, and we get to hand that check to them and start making those payments to them, or send them off into retirement, with that added benefit that, they worked here 15 years and thought they were going to just retire here and walk away with their 401k, and that was going to be it. Now they come down to the last 5-6 years of their career, and they've now got this new gift that they didn't even know they were going to walk away with. Right. And that's something that I know I personally am looking forward to, is being able to really watch those guys who put so much into this company, into their careers, and sacrifice family time and all that, to be able to realize that benefit. Right.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And maybe we'll give them a big check like we had.
Yeah, we should. That's what we should do. If guys retire, we should print those big Happy Gilmore checks and hand them out to them.
I like that.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Tucson Asphalt and our journey a little bit. From your perspective, you talked a little bit about it, legacy and that kind of stuff. But what really makes a company like Tucson Asphalt a good fit for an ESOP? One of the things I notice a lot, I've been in construction about 20 years now, and there's a lot of first generational owners out there, especially in this industry. A lot of guys that started their companies 20, 30, 40 years ago, and succession planning was not done well.
Right.
And so can you talk a little bit about that, and what, as a company maybe is getting ready to prepare for transition to ESOP, what are some things that they need to keep an eye out for, and just kind of what stands out in that process that we can help other companies kind of prepare for?
Yeah, I think the first thing is just realizing you're not invincible as the owner. And the second piece would be knowing that you're still going to be in control. And you can put an ESOP in, you can still be the chair of the board, you can still retain your role as the president, CEO. You do need to start looking at your succession plan. You do need to take the value that you've created in your relationships, in your knowledge and wisdom, and you need to spread that out to the others in your organization, in those key leaders, and you need to multiply. You can't hold on to it, because when a valuation comes in and they look at your value, they're valuing it based on those relationships, based on those skills, based on that wisdom. And if you're the only one that has it and you leave,
Right.
that's a huge hit to your value.
Yeah.
So how are you transitioning that value? How are you building that next tier of leaders? How are you building that next tier to help come in behind you and make it even better and scale to a higher level? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And then know that you're still there. You still get to sit in the driver's seat. And the other part is you do need to have a profitable business.
Sure.
Not paying corporate income taxes isn't going to save you for now a highly productive business.
Right.
It will help you scale faster. Obviously, it'll help you grow faster, but you also have to have the right culture and the right mindset.
Yeah.
If you're a business owner that just wants to sell and get out and not be part of it ever again, ESOPs is probably not the right way to go.
Okay.
Employee ownership, you do want to still be there at some capacity to help with the board and some guidance and some training and some continuity. Also, you're taking that note back as well. So
Right.
typically the seller will take a note or get a note from a bank, and you're still getting paid, and you want the company to maintain that profitability and be successful. So you still want to be tied to it.
Yeah.
The other part would be the company culture. You want a company culture where there's camaraderie, where there's self-accountability, where there's integrity, where you're really looking at how do we level up our skills? How do we continue to improve? That growth mindset is fundamentally important. Otherwise, you'll have a stagnant share value.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to see that share value go up like a hockey stick, but not everybody wants to put in the work. And so there needs to be that realization that there's going to be long hours, there's going to be difficult conversations, there's going to be challenges, kind of like what we talked about this morning.
Yeah.
If you can embrace those challenges and you can be resilient and not personalize it, oh boy, the sky is the limit.
Right.
I mean, you could really go some places.
Oh yeah.
And that's got to be your secret weapon, that and vulnerability. I think too often we have individuals, especially in the construction space, they don't want to be vulnerable, talk about where they need to improve.
Yeah.
And they want to be Superman or Superwoman. And guess what? You got to be open and you got to be honest. That's how you can get help. That's how you can get better.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately going to be good for the business too.
Yeah. So you talked about owners, once that ESOP transition is done, founders, owners staying on. And I don't know, maybe I don't know if you have this statistic, but what is it extremely uncommon for owners to transition to ESOP and then immediately leave the company? What's kind of that percentage rate? And then also on top of that, what's kind of the typical, call it, turnover process? Is there like an average for, is it usually like the plan is by the time the note's paid off that owner's transitioned out, or, is that structured differently, or what do you typically see in that kind of process?
Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Very seldom do we see someone sell to an ESOP and then it's like, peace out, you're gone.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a husband and wife, maybe one of them does,
Sure.
if I'm being honest.
Sure.
But there's usually always one that's staying. And it's usually through that term to some capacity. It might just be at the board, might still be at the C-suite.
Sure.
It really depends. And that becomes part of that negotiation with the plan trustee when you're going through the sale too. How long are you going to stay?
Right.
What is your role going to be in the future? Is it only on the board? Is it going to still be in your current capacity?
Right.
What is your succession plan?
Yeah.
And when is that going to be completed by?
Yeah.
I mean, those are key components that come into the negotiation process when you're transitioning that ownership to an ESOP trust.
Sure. And as much as we want to talk about all rainbows and butterflies, right? I'm sure as much as it can be an advantage, right, to have that owner stay on in an advisory capacity, can you talk a little bit about, what I've heard of founder syndrome, right? And the founder sometimes maybe still trying to stay too involved. I mean, you see some struggles with that out there too, where it can become somewhat of a roadblock from time to time. And what are some of the tools that maybe ESOP Partners helps companies kind of work through that?
I mean, it can happen.
Sure.
It's natural with any business where control can be suffocating.
Well, a lot of times it's their baby, right? I mean,
They sure
those owners started that company from, like Paul here started in it, cashed out everything he had working at Granite Construction for all those years and started this company out of his garage. I mean, there's blood, sweat, tears, and emotional investment in a place like this. And it's, I get it. It can be hard to walk away, but the intent of it is for them to be able to at some point, right?
Right. And so just giving them that awareness, making sure it's structured the way they'd like it, but also making sure that to scale, you have to let go. And that's okay. It's okay to have people mess up around you, but having them have the opportunity to grow and take what you've already built and then take it to another level, that's really them honoring you and honoring the legacy of the company.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be part of the strategic plan, probably at the board level, and having those discussions. We like to help with the continuity from a sustainability standpoint. We like to educate too on what those obligations are going to look like financially.
Sure.
We like to be there too if it's a transaction that we're quarterbacking, making sure those things are all taken into account. That's a key piece that we play as well at ESOP Partners.
Yeah. So culture is huge with ESOPs, right?
Yeah.
I feel like culture is what's gonna really create sustainability within an ESOP. When a company transitions from privately owned to an ESOP, what are those shifts in leadership or culture that you need to see happen, or that you see happen in successful ESOPs, 5-10 years down the line? What are those changes that they make at a leadership level?
Transparency.
Yeah.
People have to see how their behavior is impacting bottom line. They need to see what their, like you said, hard work, their sweat, their tears, their emotional connection. They need to see what that's doing, what's that producing. They also need to see the plan.
Yeah.
Where are we going? How are we going to get there?
Right. Vision, right?
We're here today, but where are we going?
Yeah.
What's our 5-year, 10-year vision? And then what are we doing every 90 days or every six months to get there and help take me along the journey? And then are we achieving that?
Yeah.
Are we hitting our metrics? Are we hitting our key financial indicators? That's going to be really empowering. So having that open dialogue, we did a feedback survey just today. Like, we want that. Amen. Yeah, like we need that. How else are we going to get better?
Yeah.
But it needs to be constructive. Let's not personalize it or attack anyone, but let's make sure that we're looking at how can we garner that feedback, and then how can we take that and turn it into our superpower? How can we turn that into us improving and getting better?
Yeah.
And I think what I saw today from your team is they're owning that.
Yeah.
They're owning their role. They're owning their impact, which we talked about as well today.
Yeah.
Own your impact every day you're on the job site. That means being safe.
Yeah.
That means being efficient. That means having little waste. We don't want to have to go back and redo things. We just don't have the time for that. Like, let's go get it done right, and let's hang our hat on that.
Yeah.
And go do another one.
That's awesome. Do you have a story of an ESOP company that sticks out to you that maybe you helped them with their transition, got them started, and now they're maybe 5-10 years down the line, and you're just like, man, those guys are doing it right. I'd love to see them. I love to visit them. They're doing all the right things.
We got one up the road, Concord.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally right here in Tucson.
Yeah, I did work with Concord when I was a baby in the industry, and they were still, privately owned. So tell us about that.
Their culture's fantastic.
Yeah.
Their leadership, I mean, Jason, Grenade, JV, those guys are drinking the Kool-Aid and they're making it. I mean, they're practicing what they preach. Their employees are bought in. They're constantly communicating. We're constantly keeping them informed on what's happening in the ESOP. We're utilizing and leveraging all of our technology to streamline that. We're utilizing a committee with them. They do committee retreats on an annual basis to keep them educated.
Oh, cool.
We do additional statements to help keep the employees educated on the benefits associated with this as being an investor.
Yeah.
And they're all bought in. I mean, they're 100% in. They're constantly having things done. We just did an ownership series where we showcased that on their behalf. But I remember several years ago interviewing Dale. Dale was one of their principals at the beginning who had ownership. And his whole intent was he wants to honor the legacy of Concord, set it up for greater success, and then also give that each employee an opportunity to garner that wealth. And they're doing it.
Yeah.
They're doing it
That's awesome.
every day. And it's so encouraging to see, but every employee-owned company can do that.
Right.
This isn't a mystery. I mean, what they're doing, others can replicate. I mean, they're pretty funky over there, I'll say that. But in a good,
Yeah.
they absolutely love giving back to their community.
Oh, yeah.
They absolutely love giving back to their employees with their benefits, and they absolutely get it done out in the marketplace with the service that they provide.
Yeah, they're awesome. It's been fun for, like I said, my 20-year career that I've been here, just watching their growth and evolution over the years. JV and I worked with his brother Russ,
Yeah.
years and years ago before he passed away.
Yeah.
And just great people, great family. And I'd love to hear that they're really embracing the ESOP culture and running with it. And I know that sky's the limit for those guys over there and for the long term. That's awesome.
Yep.
Along those lines, what sort of trends are you seeing out there in the ESOP world right now? And what is the long range future of just ESOP in general look like to you?
So current trend I'm seeing is more interactive. Like we're seeing more and more employee-owned companies utilizing individuals like us at ESOP Partners to help articulate and collaborate with them. There's a lot of previous ESOPs where they're like, we're just going to figure it out on our own.
Yeah.
And that didn't work well.
Right.
So let's bring somebody in that knows it really well, helps us get to where we need to go and then maintain it. We're seeing a bigger trend there. We're also seeing amendments to plans to get employees in sooner. You guys already recently went through that in 2024 by changing it to 90 days and you're in with no age requirement.
Yeah.
We're seeing more of that because we're seeing that alignment where companies want employees to feel and act like owners from day one.
Right.
Or as close to.
Yeah.
And that's pretty common to see. We're seeing a lot of things on the legal side from a legislative standpoint. We're seeing more around adequate consideration to help with the chilling effect that used to have on new ESOP formation.
Yeah.
We're seeing more regulatory oversight and like actual process agreements on how do you want this to look in terms of evaluating. We're seeing more outreach from the Department of Labor in a positive manner on providing more support and guidance. We saw that with the establishment of the Employee Ownership Initiative inside the Department of Labor. So a lot of things there that are positive.
Good.
But we're currently going through this silver tsunami. We have a lot of businesses where their owners are aging out and they don't have good transition tools or plans. And I'm telling you, an ESOP is a great way to do this because you can maintain the continuity, you can maintain the people, and you can go ahead and leave on your own terms and still get paid out fair market value as that business owner. And you can still dabble in it at the board level if you want. And I wish more people would bring that to the forefront. Yeah. But it's not something that business brokers are talking about. Business brokers and getting a commission on an ESOP sale. How we do ours, it's fixed fee. Sure. We don't get a commission. Right. So if your valuation's, 10 million or 2 trillion, right, we're basically getting paid the same. It doesn't matter to us. Yeah. Like it matters to us that you have a great ESOP. Sure. That's what matters to me. Sure. And the team that I represent back in Appleton, Wisconsin, we want great ESOPs. Yeah. And that is our sole focus. And we want to transform people by building transformative wealth for them. Yeah. So changing lives through employee ownership, we literally have it in our big conference room. It's on our wall. That is what we do. That's awesome. And it's important to us. And I think that's transitioning this. And when you look way back in the day, 70s, 80s, 90s, even in the early 2000s, third-party administrators were just report generators. Right. Like, hey, here's your stuff, Yeah. See you at the boxes next year. There you go. Yeah. We'll pick it up in January. That's not the game. Yeah. Like, that's not how things operate. Like, we want to have a deep, meaningful relationship with you. We want to provide exceptional service that meets you where you are today, but also takes you to where you want to go in the future. And that's very customized. Yeah. Well, and you have to be able to sell that value too, right? Especially in the world of private equity we're in right now, where you got private equity firms and all these people running around just trying to gobble up and buy up whatever they can to flip it. And it's being able to articulate that narrative to owners about legacy and culture and your people, right? Like we talked in our meeting earlier today, I had private equity come in and bought Tucson Asphalt. There's a high chance that none of us, at least at the management level, are even here anymore. Correct. I mean, they're going to come in and wipe everything out.
squeeze us for every dollar we got, flip us, and they're on to the next one, and this is, I know we've seen it, big benefit to, now that he's passed even more, Paul, to be able to leave his legacy behind and know that it's being cared for and protected and grown, and it's going to continue on the way that he wanted it to, right? Not just squeezed for everything it has and then thrown out with the next, the bathwater here.
Correct. You've cemented his legacy.
Sure.
And you've preserved that, and it's going to be here. But now every one of you are stewards of that.
Yeah.
We got to keep that message alive.
Yeah.
We need to do a podcast on that. Get that recorded.
Yeah.
Get Jen in here, get some other people in here, and we need to get that documented.
Absolutely.
We would call that a why statement. Like, why are you employee owned?
Yep.
And we don't want to lose sight of that, because the problem is, eventually Jen might not want to hear this, but she'll retire at some point and leave.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want any of that story to be missed out for the next Big Red or whatever.
Right.
These young guys.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was 18. He looks so young today.
Yeah.
But we need to preserve that legacy so that the next generation coming in behind understands why we did this thing in the first place.
Yeah.
And they understand that now they're part of it.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. Like the younger generations, right? I mean, I still consider myself young, but when you really look at it, I've probably got less runway ahead of me than I have behind me now at this point, right? And you start seeing these guys coming in, like a lot of them you got to meet today, 18, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
What role do those young guys play in this company? Because like you said, at some point we're going to blink, and Jennifer, myself, Jeff, a lot of us, we're going to be ready to get out of here, and so what are some things that we need to be doing? But then also, what would be your message for those young guys, moving forward?
We talked about it a little bit today, and I know I was kind of joking about it, but I said buckle up.
Yeah.
And I mean it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be rainbows and butterflies. It's not going to be smooth as the asphalt I saw out there today. It's going to be turbulent.
Sure.
And there's going to be challenges, but that challenge, that pressure, that's what's shaping you. It's like a diamond, right? That's what's shaping you to be the future leader of this company. Jen went through that in her journey.
Mm-hmm.
You went through that in your journey.
Yep.
We don't just magically show up and become an executive, right? We go through these life skills.
Yeah.
And what I would say as a young person coming up at Tucson Asphalt, embrace that.
Yeah.
Embrace the suck, embrace the challenge, own your impact, but ask for guidance, ask for help. It's no different than those bumpers on the bowling alley when you start, right? Like, you got to understand how to get the technique down. Ask for help. Yeah. If you've never led anyone before, ask for leadership training.
Yep.
If you don't know the technical skills to mill, then get the technical skills to mill.
Right.
Let's go get this done. We don't have anything holding us back from our success besides ourselves.
Yep.
So, and we don't have infinite resources, but we have resources to go ahead and do that. And then as leaders, be open.
Yeah.
Be actively listening, but asking as well.
Sure.
Hey, what do you want to do? What's your future? What do you want? And then is that realistic though? And then if it's not, don't lie.
Yeah.
Tell them.
Open, honest conversation.
Yeah. Hey, I hear you want to be the president of the company. Well, I think we got some things we need to work on, let's first maybe run a crew.
Yeah.
How well can we do on that?
Right.
And then let's start putting a step into that, and then maybe running a department or doing a special project. Give them opportunities and forums to showcase that great skill set and then allow them to be successful. Our biggest commodity in any business is our people.
100%.
And if we have the right people on the right seat on the bus, we can take that bus anyway.
Yep. Absolutely. So I got a few, we're going to throw some rapid fire questions at you before we wrap up and get you out of here. All right. One thing I always like to ask anybody I have on here, I'm a big reader. I'm a podcast guy. I love leadership books, podcasts, personal, professional development stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that, but what's one podcast or book that you recommend to any business owner you come across?
Joe Rogan's pretty cool from a podcast standpoint. Obviously, he's pretty popular. Atomic Habits was a good one, from a book standpoint. I'm also a big Bible reader, so that's a good one there too. Yeah. So I think that's probably got the most truth. So I would recommend those things.
Cool.
And I think there's always great resources. One thing I did previously is I took a team through an exercise around crucial conversations. And if you're not used to, critical conversations or difficult conversations, I would really encourage people to read that book as well.
Yeah.
And depersonalize those conversations and use some of the techniques in that book. It can really help you connect and overcome. And I'm seeing that becoming more and more prevalent as we have more and more difficulty around actual person-to-person social interaction. So for a younger individual, that might be a good resource too, that book.
Yeah, that's good. Have you ever read Never Split the Difference? That's a good one too.
Yeah.
From a communication standpoint, being able to
would agree.
bridge some, more negotiation tactics, but difficult conversations typically are a negotiation in some way or form. So, right. It's kind of a dry book, but a lot of good information in it.
I would agree.
So you do a lot of traveling. You're all over the place all the time, as we were talking about earlier. What is your favorite way to recharge and stay grounded when you've just had a long stretch on the road?
That's a really good question. My wife would probably answer differently. But for me, it's coming home and really helping, just doing something. If it's cleaning up, or if it's mowing the lawn, or if it's, I try to check in with my kids when I'm on the road, but then really checking in with them when I get home.
Yeah.
We're blessed. My wife and I've been married for 20 years this November, and
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. We have 3 kids, 13, 15, and 17. So
Fun.
being there for them and making sure that they know I can be a resource, but then checking in with them and being like, hey, how'd the week go? Like that really recharges me. Now I like to work out. Probably don't work out enough, but I like to work out.
Yeah.
That's a good stress relief. And then I like to play a little golf. I just picked that up with my oldest boy 2 years ago, and I found it to be very fun and enjoyable.
Yeah, I finally I fought golf for years and years. It was always like the obligatory 1 or 2 association tournaments a year. You go out, you get way too drunk, you come home late, the wife's mad, and for years I just kind of golf. And finally, about 2 years ago, I forget, Alex and I were out playing at some tournament, and it like clicked for me all of a sudden. It was like, man, this is actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
Actually, but then you get mad because you're never going to beat the game. No matter how hard you try, you got a perfect, 150, 200 yard shot down the fairway, and then your next one's 3 feet into the, into the sand. But it finally, just a couple years ago for me too, started to become fun. So
I agree. It's a great game in humility.
Oh yeah.
And you can do everything right. You can still shank it to the right or shank it to the left.
Yeah.
But it's about the consistency. It's about the level-headed mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It's about not taking yourself too seriously or taking the game too seriously. And I think there's so much application from that game and many other games we've played that we can use in our professional careers. And I think that helps set us up. So it's really cool that you had the same experience as me.
Yeah. Well, sports in general. I mean, I tell my kids that all the time. The goal doesn't need to be a professional athlete. You don't have to play in the MLB or the NBA, but just the foundation that sports gives to kids, just that resilience and being able to work through problems and deal with failure. Because the reality of it is, I mean, growing up playing sports, you're probably going to fail a whole lot more than you win, and I think you just see as people become adults and enter the workforce and face challenges, those that have a strong, individual or team sport background tend to be able to problem solve faster and recover from setbacks a whole lot quicker. So then just sports in general, is important.
Well, you build teamwork and delayed gratitude. That's another big one, because you're waking up every day early. You're putting in the time. You may not see the results right away. You may not play in a game right away. You may not even win that game.
Yeah.
But you know that you're putting in the right quality reps.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that translates extremely well into any business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have one word, but what's one word to you that describes employee ownership? You can use more than one if you need to, but
maybe hyphenated.
Yeah.
Initially, if I go off my initial thought, it would be love.
Yeah.
Another one would be shared.
Sure.
So maybe shared love. I'll do that.
There you go.
Because you're looking at someone had the thought that, you know what, I built this business and it's been great for me and my family, or the several individuals that owned an ownership stake, but I want to spread that love now to everyone else.
Yeah.
And so instead of 1 or 2 or 3 people owning all that wealth and buying that beautiful home in Maui or whatever,
Right.
like you said, or getting a new boat or a third home or whatever,
Yeah.
they now are giving it to the employees. Yeah. And that dispersal of wealth is transforming, 14.7 million employees right now in the US, and that's just the employee. Think about the family, right? And then that trickle-down effect. This can have transformative value for next generation employees as well coming behind them.
For sure.
So that's what it's spreading, is shared love into multiple generations and helping with this wealth equality gap.
Yeah.
And it really helps stabilize not only emotional health, but mental health, and provides continuity in the business to make it even more resilient.
That's awesome. That's a killer answer. I like that. So with that, I want to wrap it up. I want to give you an opportunity. Is there anything you want to share with us? Anything maybe we didn't hit today? Anything on your mind you want to share? Or if not, how can people get a hold of you? If somebody's out there, thinking about maybe becoming employee owned, or somebody's already employee owned and they think, we need a good partner in this game. We just don't feel like we're doing the right thing. How do they reach out? How do they get a hold of Jason? How do they get a hold of ESOP Partners? And,
they could call me or email me. It's fine, I guess. I guess my parting words would be, I want us to all be in this together. And I want to make today better than it was yesterday. And I want tomorrow to be even brighter than today is.
Awesome.
And we're in the business of creating and maintaining exceptional employee-owned companies. That is our sole focus. And we've been so blessed, and I'm so grateful that I get opportunities like I had this morning with your group.
Yeah.
And then even this afternoon, we were delivering burritos out there, and granted, they didn't let me drive the truck, but that's okay. But it was so cool just to go and see everybody and be like, are you good?
Yeah.
Did you get everything you needed?
Right.
And then just look them in the eye and literally shake their hand and say, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for what you do every day. We're very grateful for the opportunity to be someone's third-party administrator. And also in this case with you guys, they're consultant through all these other endeavors that we're going on, which is going to be awesome, man.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to get even deeper into this journey. We're just really thankful we have that forum and opportunity to do that. So if someone needs help in that area, we would be honored to be considered to help them with that. And if they're doing great with what they're doing and they want more out of it, like, we could be a great alternative as well. Because we're not just going to give you reports. We're actually going to talk about them and how you can do better. And we're going to talk about customized approaches to improve your overall situation and help you grow faster if that's what you want to do. Or if you want to reduce certain things and improve other areas, like, we want to set up your ESOP to do that as well. And that's what we're here to do.
That's awesome. Well, Jason, on behalf of myself and Tucson Asphalt, we appreciate you and everything you do. And we're very thankful to have you on board as our partner moving forward. And we couldn't be more excited to see what the future holds here. And again, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for everything you do. And I know our guys appreciated the conversation this morning and you going out to see them in the field today. And again, just thank you so much for what you do. And thanks for coming on and being with us today.
Oh, it's my honor. Let's do this again.
We will, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks,
sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to TAC Talk, the official podcast of Tucson Asphalt. If you enjoyed this episode, please sure to follow, rate, and share. It helps us keep the conversation rolling. We'll see you next time, where we keep breaking ground and building up the people behind the pavement. Until then, stay solid, stay safe, and keep paving the way forward.